Let's start with a small prayer. Gently close your eyes, collapse your shoulders, relax to the core that you see beyond your breath. Recognize the inner core of your sheets. Yielding yourselves to the divine. Listen to the mantra, listen to the shloka. Parasharyavachaha sarojamamalam गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानक केसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरहः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारत पङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसि नश्येयसे. Simple palming. You can gently open your eyes. Before moving to the next shloka, again a small orientation towards the ancient scripture, the Vedas. Vedas, as we all know, is apaurushaya in nature. It hasn't been written by anyone. What is the correlation between Vedas and the Maharishis, the sages? Only through their inner eye, inner vision that could penetrate deep into their selves, they sort of discovered these mantras. And collection of such is made into chapters, in fact, into books. And there are many divisions, there are many types that you see. Vedas can also be, on its purport, classified into two. One is called Karma Kanda, two Jnana Kanda. I'm not giving you more of terminologies, but understand this to be that portion which gives you the orders, gives you the regulations for performing certain type of rituals. The rituals can be daily in nature, every day in nature. The rituals can be seasonal in nature. The rituals can be on the basis of your desire to accomplish in nature. The second classification is Jnana Kanda, where the same Vedas reveal how you accomplish yourself as a better human being and thereby move to the realms of what is beyond. Moving to the realms of what is beyond is nothing but recognize this self-effulgent self, this innate self. And another goal is also very well in place, which is social service. So when you see at large the Vedas, at some places you will find that these are ritual based, these are desire accomplishment based. And at some places, if you see, you find a vast difference, where it talks about giving up all the duties, giving up all dharmas, giving up all responsibilities, and only focusing upon recognizing this effulgent self. Why such contrast? Why is this ancient so-called sacred book giving us two different dimensions of our perspective? Is it misleading? The answer is no. See, we start our spiritual sadhana with what we call as puja, upasana, worship. Like lighting a candle, closing the eyes, forgetting all the entire things that is running in our brain, running in our mind, and for that one moment, praying for someone. We start with that simple means called worship. But what do? It is a ritual. It is a kind of ritual. You buy a matchstick, you buy a candle, you offer that, you surrender something, what you have, what you've got. Some people will add some fruits in a bowl, like the Buddhists. In Hindus, in the Sanatana Dharma, the rituals and the worships are diversified in nature. It's so illustrious, it's so big, vast in nature. Why is it all done? Why do you need worship? Why do you need to pray? What is that you do in the process? The basic purpose of all this karma kanda, all this ritual-based worship is to cleanse your mind. Chitta Shuddhi is the real purpose. To cleanse your mind, to cleanse your sense organs, to wash away all the impressions, what we call in Sanskrit as vasanas. What are these vasanas? Fierceness is vasana. Ego is another vasana. Rage is a vasana. Lust is a vasana. Having a feeling of violence or revenge is a vasana. That you've been carrying through all our births. What shall be done upon it? Only worship will cleanse all these vasanas. Why so? Because by offering something called candle, by surrendering something called fruits unto divine, we are trying to symbolize the act of offering, the act of ego surrender. What I have, what I cherish most is yours, is for you. Now listen to what I'm saying. Now let my prayers be heard. No? That's the simple act of symbolism that we do while we do the upasana, while we pray. Do all pray? No, not necessarily. You see Bhagavan Ramana, he just went to the temple once in his lifetime, whom he calls his own father, Sadashiva, the Annamali, the Arunachaleshwara. He visited him once. So Jnana Marga is something for the elite individuals, for those who are elite in nature. In fact, elated. They remain in bliss who are the Atmavit, the Vedavit. They always remain in bliss. They do not need an act of symbolism or a ritual for them to realize that we surrender. I am washing my ego off. I'm washing my vasanas and sins off. They don't need all this stuff. For them, this is sheer waste of energy. For them, it is sheer waste of time. weeks ago, we were talking about Vyavasayatmika Buddhi in detail. No? That supremely convinced intellect, that powerful intellect which is steadfast, staying with that effulgent, self-effulgent truth. In Vedavit, in Atmavit, such supremely convinced intellect is very strong that they don't shirk, they don't shirk away from the spiritual discipline for these material activities. Why do I call it as material activities? It is divine worship. That is exactly what Krishna is about to talk. When you are starting an upasana or starting a japa or a meditation, for that matter, when we are not matured enough, there is always an ulterior motive behind, for which the mind is actually craving the reward of. You can take the example of a yoga session. Okay, you come to a yoga session to just relax your mind, to help you away with this bothering neck pain, for that matter. So when there is a desire beneath any form, any ritual, any upasana, the desire behind this ritual, it has to be undertreated. It has to be put down. Hence, in the following shloka, you will find Lord Krishna discouraging the ritual orientation of Vedas itself. It does not mean, I've started with an explanation, a prelude to the shloka, because you should not miscomprehend that Krishna is discouraging the Vedas itself. The way we perceive what the mantras speak is what he is discouraging. We'll get to the shloka and then go for further explanation. So that's a small heads up for the shloka. 2.46. Yavanartha udapane, yavanartha udapane, sarvatas samplutodake, sarvatas samplutodake, tavan sarveshu vedeshu, tavan sarveshu vedeshu, brahmanasya vijanataha, brahmanasya vijanataha. So he is giving an upama, a simile here. What is the use of a pool in a town when the town is flooding? There's no use of a pool. You can't use the pool. Pool is also flooding. Pool is also with muddy waters, right? That's the essence here. What is the purport that he is talking about? Similarly, the use of Vedas for a Brahmana. Brahmana is here does not mean the category, the caste, the group, the class, but Brahmanasya vijanataha, one who is a realized soul, one who is a person who always stays with his Brahman, stays with his self, an enlightened soul. For an enlightened soul, the purpose of Vedas is lost. There is no purpose of reading the scripture, chanting the mantras for an enlightened being. Which means he is not into the bondage of doing the rituals, doing Sandhya Vandana, doing Yajna Yagadi Kriyas, doing the sacrifices, the fire sacrifices, doing the worships. He is away from all such duties. Now, why is he mentioning this at this juncture, where he is talking about Karma Yoga? Why is he mentioning this? We have to understand for that matter. When Krishna talks in Gita, if you take it all the 18 chapters together, when he says yoga, it is always Karma Yoga. If he has to address Jnana Yoga, Bhakti, he will always use the adjective Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Sankhya Yoga. In fact, Jnana Yoga, he does not use the word Jnana Yoga. He uses Sankhya for that. When he uses the word karma, it is mere action that he is representing. A mere action will be propelled, transcribed better into the state of yoga, karma yoga, only when the actor loses the sense of doership. That is clear. An enlightened being, let him be a jnana yogi, let him be a bhakti yogi, let him be a karma yogi of whatever sort. He is an enlightened being. He, in his core, has lost this, has vanquished this doership and enjoyership from within. Hence, what is the use of him doing a ritual called Ashwamedha? What is the use of him having a putra, him having a son and doing a putra kamishti? What is the use of him doing any ishti? He has no desires. Oh my God, you mean he does not care about world? Things are so worsened in Bangladesh, in Kolkata. Does he not care about all these things? Again, come back to Vyavasayatmika Buddhi and Avyavasayatmika Buddhi. A scattered mind is always trying to assess where are the places to worry. It tries to get attracted to the places of worry. But one who has this gathered state of mind do not gets down to that filthy state of bodily identity. He is always in bliss. Does that mean that he is not an asset to the world? Is he a waste? Scholars say him being there itself is the greatest blessing. There in his own state itself a greatest blessing to the world. Not only that, Krishna says him being in that state will help his entire lineage to prosper. So karma kanda. Let me just take a big trip over this shloka. I'll relate it. It is not going to be a proper representative, but I'm going to relate it down to a layman, low life's version. Okay. Desire-based action, non-desire-based action. That's the only margin that he is creating, the margin of difference that is creating. Don't worry about you. We are not doing any Vedic rituals. Nobody is. Nobody's interested. But what is the esoteric meaning behind karma kanda? We are all propelled by desires. All of our actions are propelled by desires. The beginning phase of an action is desire. Lately, I was talking to this YIC yoga instructor course students, wherein I was asking what happened to that enthusiasm. in the beginning months. The rajas propelled them. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. Oh, I have to become a great teacher. No? The desire, tad raja samudahritam, the desire is yettu kamepsuna sarva. Kamana, the desire behind the rajas, the rajasika nature, is propelling, is making us run. You know, is very energetic. It gives immense amount of energy. But what happens? One who runs sits back, never completes his action, or loses the lack of enthusiasm, zeal in finishing the work, or is just frustrated after the work, during the work, or even after getting rewarded, not enough satisfied. See, the pity, the pathetic outcome that we do, that we try to attract just because of the initial intent that we've got. Kamana, desire. Now that we know this is the cycle, this is how we are going to end up, let us rephrase ourselves. Let us rejuvenate the way that we think, rejuvenate the way that we act. Hence, Karma Kanda says, try to surrender. You cannot vanquish all the desires, no problem. Let the desire be towards divine. Krishna says, you desire for me. You desire attaining me. You can't vanquish desire, no problem. Divinize your desires. He even goes to the point saying that copy me. Copy me in your actions. If you do not know how to do, just copy me. How am I doing my actions? How is the God creating? Why is he creating? Why is he maintaining? Why is he sustaining? Does he get any salary for this? Is he being recognized by all? Does that he want? Is it what he want? Being recognized, being worshipped? Is he doing all the sustenance work because of that? Look at your own human body. How is your cellular system working? I was listening to this speech of Dr. Nagaratna in the morning, wherein she shares the experience of her participant, saying that a great Rama Bhakta, a devotee of Rama, was able to reverse his coronary artery disease just by closing the eyes, meditating upon the arteries which have been blocked, the epithelial dysfunction that had happened in the cardiac muscles, which had created inflammation and being blocked. Now, every day it takes about 20 minutes, 40 minutes for this person to meditate, saying that Rama, take care of this heart. And then within 20 minutes, he says he could feel the heart is draining. And he reversed his CAD, it seems. And he is a person who talks so straight from her heart, and it seems so easy. She's been documenting all the things behind the reversal of diseases other than yoga, integrated approach of yoga. What is this particular person doing? She was asking the person, the participant, the question, how many minutes it took that you felt it drained. Sometimes it is 20, sometimes it is 40. So initially I start with Rama Japa and what he shouldn't be doing, Kapalabhati, Nadi Shuddhi, and Brahmari, it seems, so that he can focus on Rama's vision, Rama's connections, uniting oneself with Rama. So he used that as prep work, and then it took 20 minutes for him to drain away. And literally all his reports were matching. He reversed his disease. She also Talked about another patient who reversed diabetes, it seems, who had to take large insulins intake, it seems. So you never know. The act of surrender itself is flourishing. The act of surrender is what Karma Kanda is trying to prescribe. But unfortunately, the person who is doing the yajna, the person who is doing the sacrifice is taking that my desires are being accomplished. We even go to temples. No? Down south, there is this act of breaking coconuts before Lord Ganesha. No? So, and then fold hands, saying that, oh, Ganesha, please take care of my mathematics examination. And then he does well. He's so happy. Next time he gets a trouble, he goes to Ganesha, breaks another coconut. At least this act of surrender, you take care of that, you take care of this, is divinizing his desire. At least this is happening. But when you take that for, how do you say that? When you take that for granted, you accept that, okay, this is how it is going to happen, and you're not sensing that esoteric meaning behind it, you are self-empowered. When you don't take that strongly, you will again run around foolishly. You will come back. You will go to the peak of the mountain, you come back, you fall. And then again, you try, run, climb, go to the peak of the mountain, and then you fall back, get an back injury. This is the thing that we do. Like the Tom and Jerry race, one behind the other. Huh? There's this funny story of Abdul that Raghuramji used to say, another guru of mine. A teacher in this classroom always scolds Abdul for his weak performance. He doesn't concentrate in studies. He doesn't pick well. He doesn't grasp things properly. He's sheerly wasting his time. And always scolding that fellow and then passing the classroom out. Okay. One fine morning, the friend of Abdul gets up and asks the teacher, why is that you're scolding this fellow, poor fellow, every time? We are also sometimes not concentrating. Why are you only scolding that fellow? The teacher says, Abdul is older than me. He is in this classroom for 7 years in a row. So it's a funny story. But we are all those Abduls, no? We are sitting in this samsara for years together, for I don't know, for lives together in a row. Not able to grasp the small spark, how to be devoid of doership. Once when we are out of that, I was talking to this student. I have to mention this. I was talking to the student. She was saying, okay, so if I act without the doership, or if I don't engage myself in enjoying the fruits of outcome, what would be my motive to do the work? We're all taught in that format. There should be a motive to do the work. I asked her a question. What if you don't have a motive and Will you work or won't you? Will you engage yourself in action or won't you? She said, I won't. Which means, are you inactive? She said, yes, I will not engage in actions. Hence, I am inactive. No? It is not one particular action. Is she inactive? Is she not sitting and talking? Is sitting not an action? Is talking not an action? Is breathing not an action? Is living not an action? Is seeing not an action? Come what may, you are not, as a living being, as being in this form and name, you're not supposed to, you will not be able to get out of the realm framework of what is called actions. You have to act. Na karmanam anarambhat siddhim vindati manavaha. Perhaps it comes later on in the half. Without having, not doing an action, there is no siddhi, there is no success, there is no victory, there is no flourishing. So inaction, not engaging in action, renouncing action is not wise idea. And you cannot. Hence, why don't you change the format of actions? Moving into desirelessness before acting. Enjoying the process of the action itself. What are we gaining? You are gaining washing away ego during the process. How so? It is this ego which is saying that I've done this, I'm doing this, I'm engaging myself for hours together. I have to be rewarded. He didn't say a thing about what I've done. So I was again giving another YSC student an example. How did you learn riding cycle? You were falling. Your knees were injured. You're bruised every day. But still the next day you'll be getting your cycle up and then riding your cycle, right? You were enjoying somehow this. It is fresh air. It is the scene outside. You are independent. You're a big person now. You know, all sort of feelings together, put together. Come what may, whatever be the reason. You are not worried about the bruises. You're not worried about the balance issues that your body can have. You're not thinking about it. Neither you were thinking about the outcome. Okay, I'll be of help to my mom to buy some milk or curd when I know how to cycle. Huh? When I know how to ride a cycle, I'll be able to, go to the school on my own. You weren't thinking about the outcome then. You were just enjoying. You were having your time. Why can't all the actions of life be riding a cycle? Just enjoy. While washing the ego off is another hidden benefit of washing the ego off. You will be more successful. I think I'm reiterating all these sentences from Hindi to English. I was talking the same because I was dealing with Karma Yoga yesterday, where I was mentioning these students, how many studios have grown in this Gwalior city and then ended up closing. What is the reason behind Gauravji's yoga studio running for 15 successful years? And I was also mentioning there were There are students still following all the 15 years. When we started in 2009, we have same set of students also. What is that? What is the reason? So a student was saying, "Oh, Gauravji, when I talk to him, or when people talk to him, they feel like they are away from the troubles and problems. He's so direct. He's so heartfelt about our emotions. He is colorful at the same time. Hence, he could stand all these odds, and then for 15 years he could stay." I said, "No. Any person can be happy-go-lucky. That's not the secret. The secret behind his success is the intent behind taking a class. His intent, he is there. Speak of the devil. The intent behind his taking the class is to redeem the participant from the pain, is to help him. He's charging, he takes the fee. That's all there. But he senses the worry. He tries to dispel the worry, taking theirs to be his. Now that eventually, that intent is grown, is being grown by his gurus. He was into social service organizations. He mended him that way. But that is again another methodology to give away the act of doership. Giving away the act of doership is the secret of any success. Success of the action, success for you yourself. But again, beware. You're not doing just because you have to succeed. That is not giving away act of doership again. So you have to be aware of that. So either you recognize yourself or you work for this welfare of the society. Not only society. Society is a big word. Not that. But at least to the welfare of more than two. And not you. Regarding inaction, I have to mention this. It so happens with all spiritual sadhakas that they try to shirk away from their spiritual sadhana themselves. For example, if a person is engaged in japa or meditation, slowly what so happens is they get bored. There is no illumined vision, no more. The initial rajas is gone. And slowly they drop doing japa meditations. Why? Even in spiritual sadhana, they have this desire for some spiritual accomplishment. Pathetically, this is wrong. Bhagavan Ramana says, being steadfast in the sadhana itself is the outcome of the sadhana. Getting rooted in the sadhana and you are doing it regularly, come what may, like a thing which is you yourself defining yourself, is the spiritual outcome. So inability to do or non-doing things is highly unacceptable. In the next shloka, you will understand, karmani eva adhika ma phaleshu kada mas mate sangostu akarmani. He says, do not fall for this vicious gamut of non-doing. Do not fall for this, he says. Don't get attached. Just be away from it, he says. Inaction disempowers you. Action with detachment in the state of yoga empowers you, makes you more successful, pleasing, peaceful. In the previous shloka, we were also seeing bhogaishwaryartam. We always act because of two things. Either we are pleasure hungry or power hungry. When you fall for this bhoga and aishwarya, pleasure and power, you are befallen, he says. You will never be peaceful. You will never be restful. You will have this scattered mind. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadho na vidhiyate. He will never be restful. His intellect will always find places of worry and get attracted to it. Sit on that. Hence tapas. Washing away ego is nothing but doing this tapas of washing away pleasure and power from your head. When your mind or sense organ is attracted to the pleasure, think that you are not doing right. Behold yourselves. When your mind is getting attracted to power or recognition, sorry, power is not much of a place here. Recognition. Social media has given this huge ghost called recognition. No? And recognition and monetization, no? Out of it. Anyways, recognition. When your mind and sense organ is moving towards recognition, behold yourselves. You are in the death trap. Move back. How do you do it? Back in the lesson, I was saying, you don't ask me how do you do it. I can tell you, you be aware that you are not sensing reward while you're acting. While you're acting, just remind yourself, how do you write this lesson plan? Whom are all involved in making you eligible, capable enough in writing this lesson plan? That way you are grateful more, not worried about how much I will secure from this lesson plan demonstration. Gratefulness is there in the heart. No, delve with it, deep within. So while you do that, neither pleasure nor recognition will touch you, like riding that bicycle example. You're bruised, you're injured. There's not always pleasant experience there, yet you're doing it. There's some sort of ecstasy in doing the action. That is exactly what we have to capture. Be ecstatic while doing actions, never bothered about the outcome. Because we are not because we are restrained from the outcome, but because we are not eligible for the outcomes. That's what you're going to see. And we are not eligible for the outcomes, he says. Anyways, coming back. Be ecstatic while doing actions. Never get bothered about what outcome it will flourish, because it is the fruit of action. It is always wine. It is going to intoxicate you. Never fall for inability, non-actions. Never fall into that trap. That is very depressing. That is dark tamas. That is ignorance. Don't go there. Keep acting, smiling. Thank you. I'll take questions now.